So everybody loves Payday, right? Right. A little while back, I watched a great video by Jaspreet Singh of the Minority Mindset called "Don't Do These 5 Things with Your Money" or 5 Don'ts When You Get Paid. And I'll make sure I link to that video in the description box below. So that video got me thinking about the things that you should be doing with your money. In today's video, I want to walk you through a little bit of my payday routine and show you the things that I do and that I think you should do too every time you get paid. If you're new around here, welcome. On this channel, we talk all things money for young adults just like me. So if you're into that kind of thing, I hope that by the end of the video, you'll choose to come join the squad by hitting that subscribe button and turning on post notifications by hitting the bell icon so that you never miss a single post from us. So to provide some context for this video, I am a full-time salaried employee and I get paid twice a month, once towards the middle of the month and once toward the end of the month. So payday for me usually begins with my direct deposit hitting my bank account at some ungodly hour of the night. Wait, that's a lie. Payday for me usually begins with an alert from my credit card company letting me know that my tithe has been charged to my account. That honestly sometimes happens the day before I get paid. Because I'm paid semi-monthly, the specific day of the month that I get paid changes every month, so that's usually how I even know that I'm getting paid in the first place, to be honest. So the very first thing that I do once that direct deposit hits my account is that I check to make sure that I got paid the correct amount. For me, it's pretty easy because I'm a salaried employee, so the amount that I get paid every time doesn't change. Now, if it's not the amount that I expect, I definitely go through my pay stub and investigate why that is. Reviewing your pay stub is very important, especially if you're an hourly employee. You should check your pay stub to make sure that your gross pay, your deductions like retirement contributions and things of that nature, and your tax withholdings are the correct amount. We can definitely do a more detailed video about how to review your pay stub. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below. The second thing I do when I get paid is that I compare what I got paid against my budget. If you want to learn more about my personal budgeting process and actually take a look at my actual budget, I'll make sure I put a link to a video where I went into detail about my budget in the cards above and in the description box below. This step is especially important if you have a consistent income. So if you're an hourly employee or you're a freelancer or an entrepreneur. If you made less money than you thought, that means that you need to go through and strategize as to where you can make adjustments in your budget or how much you need to make in your next paycheck in order to put you back on track. If you made more money than you expected, this is the time to make some intentional decision making about what to do with that excess cash. And we made a video talking more about intentional decision making when it comes to your finances. So I make sure I link that video also in the cards. The third thing I do when I get paid is that I take care of non-negotiables first before spending any discretionary money. As I alluded to in the beginning, my tithe gets auto-charged to my account every payday. My savings are also on auto-draft to my outside savings account that I keep separate from my day-to-day banking. These two items are non-negotiable for me, so they are happening regardless of what happens. I also have other bills that get automatically drafted, like my rent, my internet, and my student loan payments. Because what we don't want to do is to start spending money on food and going out and not have a roof over our head. Priorities. The fourth thing I do is that I track my expenses throughout the month. I personally use an app called Good Budget to do this. The reason I use the app is because, like most people, my phone is typically always with me, and it only takes about 30 seconds of my time to input a transaction when I spend money. Whenever I spend money anywhere, I make sure I input it into my app so that I can keep track of how much money I have left to spend during that month. A big mistake some people make is spending according to the balance that is in your bank account. This isn't very effective because you can easily lose track of your expenses. An added benefit of intentionally tracking your expenses is record keeping. I can't tell you how many times I've had to go back and try to search for how much I paid for a certain item or a certain service or transaction, and it was just so easy to find because I could easily go through my app or wherever I had tracked my expenses and find that information. Now, I'm not saying you need a budgeting app to do this. For example, Mishak likes to use an Excel spreadsheet to track his expenses, which is definitely not the way for me. The important thing is to have a system where you can track your expenses that works best for you. Now, at the end of the month, the fifth and final thing that I do is I do a budget checkup. When I do my checkup, I ask myself a couple of questions, like where did I spend the most discretionary money this month? Or where do I have excess cash left over at the end of the month? Remember, just because you have excess cash at the end of the month does not give you the license to spend it and waste it mindlessly. This is another opportunity for some intentional decision making, which is basically the overarching theme. Maybe you might have a large expense that you might want to leave some padding for. For example, I know for me, my Amazon Prime membership comes around every year, and every year I somehow seem to forget that it's coming around, and I just wake up one morning and the money's gone from my account. Or maybe you might decide that you want to pad up your emergency fund a little bit more, or put a little bit more money aside for things like car maintenance and repairs that you might need to do. On the flip side, you might realize that despite tracking your expenses, you still somehow managed to go over budget or found it really hard to stick to your budget. If that's the case, ask yourself, what adjustments do you need to make? For example, in an earlier version of my budget, I had under budgeted for gas. Once I saw that I was consistently going over budget in that line item, I just increased that budget item and took the money from somewhere else in the budget. And this doesn't have to take a long time. I personally just scan over my app at the end of the month, and that way I'm quickly able to see the amounts that are left in each line item of my budget and see what excess cash I have left. And if you realize that you need to make a change to your budget, there's no huge rush. Take some time to reevaluate your priorities and come up with a game plan. Remember, you work hard for your money, and doing these 5 things when you get paid is gonna put you on a good track to financial stability and freedom. If you got value out of today's video, make sure you come join the squad by hitting that little icon that's gonna be right over here in this region. And for more videos just like this one, make sure you check out these videos that'll be linked on this side of your screen. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next one.